Yeah, thank you everybody, and good morning to all of you. And of course, thank Policy Circle for inviting us for this very, deep and intense debate, or I wouldn't say debate, intense discussion on the Indian steel industry and understanding in depth what are the challenges that the Indian steel industry faces. Despite all the achievements, I think it's important in such forums to actually understand the challenges and come out with some kind of a policy roadmap or the way forward for the steel industry, and looking at all aspects of the life cycle of the steel industry as it was put in the last session as well. So I think Ashwini Kumar ji in the last session actually took us around the entire gamut of aspects of the steel industry and explained about most of this the topics that are covered in this session, but nevertheless we'll dive deeper. And three particular parts which is envisaged here: one is the raw material constraints, then the logistic constraints, and then come to the downstream competitiveness is also something that I think we need to understand. And in terms of raw material constraints, as was spoken in the last session, coking coal becomes it is still a very difficult commodity in India, and 85% of it is imported from largely from Australia and also from Russia and US. So that's where we stand in terms of the most important critical mineral, so to speak, is coking coal, which is still imported largely. Then, of course, the logistics aspect, which again was mentioned last time, but we reiterate that the logistic costs in India is still about 13 to 14% of the GDP, and it impacts a sector like steel very badly because it's a commodity bulk material, and therefore it impacts this sector quite largely. And despite the policies of the national logistic policies, of course, there's a lot of attempt by the government to improve logistics in India through the PM Gati Shakti, and especially in the steel sector, if you see the Mission Purvodaya is something again which is indirectly or directly impacting the logistics space for steel sector by trying to encourage mining and all of that in resource rich areas, while also trying to ease out logistic constraints through PM Gati Shakti by providing infrastructure points and railway connectivity across the country and encouraging decentralized clusters. So those are some things that the government of India is doing in the logistics space, but still we would like to hear from the the experts here on how the steel industry is actually coping up with this. And the last is, of course, the downstream competitiveness. When we speak of policy reforms that support the steel sector, they need not necessarily support the downstream ancillary units of the MSMEs or the small scale, the fabrication units, and also the large construction industry per se. So both of these are not actually aligned, and they may pull in different directions. So how does one cope up with this? So this is something that we're trying to look at in this session.